do a life purpose scope, but I'm on my walk and I was like, well, I guess I could wait until I get home, but I was really just feeling it in the moment. So I picked a card in my head. So I knew I wanted to draw from my life purpose deck. I've actually never done this before, but I was like, I wonder if I could just pick a card in my head. So I said a little prayer to the angels and I picked a card, and the card was trust. And I think on the trust card in that life purpose deck from Doreen Virtue, there's a crystal ball. I'm not 100% that it's that one, but I felt trust, and it really seemed to match the message that I have, which on the title is follow the frustration or follow the feel good. And I wanted to relate it to life purpose because, oh good, you needed that card, Krista. I think we all need that card. And I wanted to relate that to this scope because, or I wanted to relate it to our life purpose because I think what we do a lot in our when we're trying to figure out what our passion is and what is our purpose, we get really frustrated, and it actually blocks us from tapping into our purpose and feeling good. And I'm saying that because I've experienced that for myself. I mean, I always experience it for myself. That's why I do follow the feel good, because I want to teach you guys what I'm learning. Awesome, Jake. Yeah, I'm a Canadian, born and raised Canadian. I live in Hawaii now, but I'm dual citizenship, so I'm American too. But in our life purpose, you know, we follow the frustration a lot because we're so anxious as humans. We want everything right now. And I know that I do that to myself a lot because I've made decisions in the past that have come pretty quickly. Like when I decided to be an athlete, I was like, I'm going to be a professional athlete. Like there was no second guessing in it. And when I wanted this human resources manager job in Hawaii, when I came here, I just felt supported through the whole process. Like I want that job. And it wasn't a question in my mind. It was like, no, this is going to be. And so as I, work through learning about angel readings and doing readings, I do feel a sense of frustration as to what that form looks like in terms of online or in person or digital. Just I know that it's angel readings and I love giving readings, but it's how do I do it in a way that feels really good and easy to me. And so I can easily get frustrated, and I've learned that the path, when you follow the frustration, and please share with me in the chat box what your experience is, because I would love to know. Decahedrons are giving you hell. I don't actually know what that means. Can you explain? When we follow the frustration, we actually block ourselves from the light. It pulls us into the darkness because frustration is a fear-based emotion, and that's the trick of the ego. The ego wants us to be afraid, and it wants us to listen to the ego's voice, because the ego lives in the darkness. And once we see the light, we don't need the ego anymore, and then the ego disappears, and that's its greatest fear. So that's why it's always scaring us with death. Okay, but that went a little bit off topic there. Anyway, so following the frustration leads to more frustration, and it actually slows our progress down, which is like contradictory to what we're wanting, right? So we're feeling frustrated because things aren't coming to us in a way that we want them to, or in the speed that we want them to. And so we feel like we're not being productive, or at least I should speak for myself. This is how I feel, and please let me know if that's how you feel as well. I get frustrated, and then I feel like I'm not producing, or I'm not accomplishing what I want to accomplish. And then it actually slows time down, because where am I putting my focus? I'm putting my focus on the frustration and on the darkness and the fear and the despair and the lack. And so you cannot move forward towards the light and fulfill your life purpose when you're focused on the lack and on the darkness. And then on the other side of that, so sometimes I like to use like metronomes as an example. Spheres are smooth while white cubes, or the likes are sharp. Hence, oh, okay. Oh, that's an interesting analogy. I like that. I want to come back to that. I would like to hear more about that. So I often use a pendulum or like a metronome from a piano. So we swing from one end. So this could be the fear and the darkness, and then what we really have to do is swing over to the other side where the light is. And so the way to out of the frustration is to follow the feel good. Now, you have to move through all that stuff in between there in order to get to the feel good. And that's the hard part for most people. That's the difficulty, because it's like you feel the darkness and then you want to come through. You're like, no, I can't think that way. I have to have, better self-talk, right? And you come a little bit here, and then something happens that upsets you, and then it triggers that fear, and then you go back over there. So it's like, it's a huge process to let yourself over to the light and to stay there. Once you're there, and once you practice it and you continue to follow the feel good, it becomes easier and easier. Just like it's really easy to be in the fear and the ego state, because that's what we're used to. It's just habit. It's not our fault necessarily. It's what we've been taught, and it's how we know how to live our lives, but that's actually not the right way of living, because it doesn't feel good. So hi there. So if you can instead, if you're feeling frustration, whether it's in a relationship or within your life purpose, whatever aspect of your life you're feeling frustrated in, know that it's not going to help you to stay in that place. So like a lot of the times I think we want to go crawl up into bed, or like I'll watch Vampire Diaries, but I like to do that when I'm happy anyway. Or like, I'll watch a Netflix, or I'll make a smoothie, or I'll try to distract myself somehow. Do I run at some point? Like, I'm not running on the scope. No, I'm pretty much a walker. So what was I saying? Yeah, you want to hide when you're in the frustration, and actually what's better to do is to get up and move through it. Let it pass. Like, okay, I'm frustrated. You don't want to deny it, because denying it still means that it's going to be there, and it's going to block you, because you're shoving it down because you don't want to see what's there. But actually, if you're like, okay, I feel frustrated, this is pissing me off, I don't like how this feels, I want to let it go. And then you can actually ask the angels for help. So you just out loud or in your mind, you can be like, angels, I need help right now. I feel the darkness. I know that's not the right way, but I just don't know how to move into the light. I don't know how to follow the feel good, because I don't know what feeling good means right now. You just say exactly how you feel. You don't have to have the answers. They have all the answers already lined up for you, but they can't give you the answers if you're blocking them with your frustration. So it's like that dark cloud. You have to let it lift so that the sun can come through, right? Same principle. So call on your angels for help. And when you do follow the feel good, when you do get into a rhythm, even if it's just like a few minutes and then it turns into an hour and then maybe a whole day another time, when you start following the feel good more often, you will find that you're way more productive in terms of your life purpose or communication in your relationship, whatever it is. When you allow instead of try to force, then you're going to find yourself moving forward in a way that's really beautiful. And I go through that myself, like, okay, I'm frustrated, and then I get irritated with myself because it's like, well, I'm supposed to be an angel reader. Like, I talk to the angels, and yet I'm still like frustrated over here and still wonder if they're listening to me. And am I really hearing them, or am I really crazy? Now, these thoughts go through my head as well. And so I'm not saying that they're not there. I'm just like you. It's just that, you just have to remember to do it, and you have to have faith. Oh, right. So coming back to the card, sorry. The life purpose card that I pulled is trust. So the key ingredient in terms of switching from following the frustration into following the feel good is trust. You have to trust that the feel good is the right direction. The frustration is the wrong direction. And so if you're not feeling good, you're on the wrong path. And that's okay. That's our lesson, like a million times a day. If you're not feeling good, you're on the wrong path. And so the way to maneuver out of it is to ask for help, and then just be still until you can figure out what feels good for you. And it may be something small, like, I don't know, I'm just going to take myself for a walk. I need to give myself a timeout. I need to listen to this song that makes me really happy. I need to call my friend. Something, whatever, just anything that you know makes you feel good. It could be like brushing your teeth or flossing. And then and then you will notice that you will come into a place of feel good, and that will allow you to trust it more. The more you trust, the easier it is to trust, and the easier it is to have faith. But if you let the darkness lead the way, that's going to pull you out of the trust, because the ego is not trustworthy at all, contradicts everything. It is not a reliable source. It is not your friend. The feel good is like the most perfect best friend. And if you go to my website on the About page, followthefeelgood.com/about, I talk about what the feel good is and how I relate it to being like the most perfect best friend. So that was my thoughts I wanted to share with you this morning on this beautiful day in Hawaii. I think it's really, yes, totally, Crystal. It's all about getting out of your head and dropping back into your heart. You nailed it. That's the feel good. And I'm not saying, like, I know a lot of the time, like, I'm a big believer in getting out of the head, because I know it's not really, I'm much better leading from my heart than from my head, but there are a lot of left-brained people out there, left-minded people who are analytical, and of course there's merit in terms of using your mind and making decisions that way, but not always. I think if we lose sight that our heart actually has a lot of accurate information for us, I think a lot of people feel lost because we're taught not to listen to our heart to a certain extent. Like, it's not realistic, you know? I'm sorry if I just hit a windy spot. Let me just see if I can find a calm area. But it's hard to lead from your heart, to trust your heart when it's been hurt. That's forgiveness. I totally agree. It can be. We're wounded humans in general. We're wounded by... I was going to stop, but I'll move past these barking chihuahuas. What was I saying? Yes, we're all wounded humans. We've been hurt, and we will continue to be hurt as long as we continue to live in a state of fear. So that comes with trusting. When you can trust, you open your heart to the possibility of being hurt again. But knowing that if you're able to forgive your past, if you're able to forgive what has happened to you or from you or by you, then you can move into a place of trust. And forgiveness is the key to not being hurt again. So if you do your forgiveness work, then it's a lot easier for you to open your heart again and make decisions from the heart, because you know that everyone's just doing their best. And the more integrity that you have in your life, the more honesty that the more honest you are with yourself, makes it easier for you to be honest with other people. It makes it easier for you to say what you need to say and to do what you need to do for you without acting out of guilt or obligation. And then you're living through your heart. And then it's easier to make decisions from your heart because you have the experience and the proof that it works. And that's my goal for you. That's my real goal for you. And that's what I'm practicing. That's what I'm teaching myself and wanting to share with you along the way. Thank you. You know what? I feel in the flow because, do you guys know Tyler Henry, the medium? I just watched one of his scopes. He has like an E. I don't have cable, but I wish I could watch it. He has a medium show, like he reads celebrities. And he's just the most gentle, sweetest person. And I really appreciated watching how he answered his questions with people, and it really helped me to relax a little bit and not worry so much. Because I do worry, it's like, I can't see dead people, but then he's like, he can't see auras. And so I was beating myself, this is a little like on a different topic, but I was beating myself up last week, like having a real rough week, thinking like, I'm not authentic enough. I'm not like Doreen Virtue. I can't I don't have the same, I can't hear angels or see them everywhere. But then I realized, we all have one strength. Generally, we have one predominant way of connecting with our angels. And in case you're not sure, you can either see them, you can hear them, you can feel them, or you just know them. So there's all these different ones. And so I'm a clairsentient, which means I feel them. I feel messages. And I have begun to hear them. I met Archangel Michael in the most profound dream of my life a few weeks ago. So I am opening. My mind is opening. And it all comes from trust and letting go of fear and practicing. It takes a lot of practice and cleansing your diet too. So we all have the capability of listening to our angels and hearing them and seeing them and feeling them. But we have to remember to ask, and we have to do the work. It's like anything in life. You have to educate yourself on them, and then you have to practice. It all comes with practice. So I hope that I'm encouraging you to do that. And if you would like a personal reading from me, you can go to my website, followthefeelgood.com/work, and sign up for a reading with me. It's only $55, and we'll talk for an hour, and I do mindset coaching, which I bring from my meditation and from my skills as a former professional athlete. And so we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about and figure out what the real question is you want answered, and then we'll bring in the angels, and then we'll talk some more. It's really fun. It's a beautiful experience. And I love doing them in person. I really want to do more in person.